Paying your sewer bill helps keep our Great Lake great, but paying that bill can sometimes be difficult. That's why the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District has expanded its cost-saving programs to help customers lower their bills. To see if you qualify, call 216-881-8247 or visit neorsd.org/save. Your sewer district, keeping our Great Lake great.
The Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District presents Clean Water Works, a monthly news magazine and your source for local water, sewer, and stormwater news that affects you and your community. Clean Water Works features the people, projects, and programs that are protecting your health and environment. Your sewer district, keeping our Great Lake great.
Hi, and welcome to this edition of Clean Water Works. We're out here today at Wildwood Park on Cleveland's east side. I'm Jen.
And I'm Ray. Today we'll learn about employment opportunities at the sewer district.
We'll also take a look at one of our underground sewer construction projects designed to capture combined sewer overflows.
But first we'll learn a little bit about our regional stormwater management program.
Hello everyone and welcome to Sewer U, Sewer University. We're going to talk today about the history of sewers and clean water in Northeast Ohio, specifically the greater Cleveland area. I am Frank Greenland. I'm the Director of Watershed Programs. This presentation is available on our website at narsd.org/seweru. So we implemented a regional stormwater program. This is a multi-million-dollar program. There's a lot of issues out there that need to be tackled. We implemented a new fee based on impervious surface to all of our customers under the premise that everybody's contributing. So we charge accordingly. These are the four key things we want to do. This year we'll have all four of our master plans running concurrently. And a master plan is a detailed engineering study of these watersheds to determine how much flow do we have, why do we have so much flow, what problems are out there, and what's the best solutions. So we have four master plans, first time in Northeast Ohio history that's happening, which is a huge advance, I think, in our ability to deal with this issue. We have inspection and maintenance crews. We've got contractors that help, internal staff with inspection, working beautifully. And their job is to keep those culverts and bridge openings clear. So when we get a big rain, we don't have big backup and resulting flooding. We're actively designing and constructing projects, and that program is accelerating. The whole program is predicated on encouraging good practices, both with district projects and with member community actions and local customer actions. So the stormwater master plans, we're covering the whole service area. The last master plan, which is in the Lake Erie Tribs and Chagrin River, will start this summer, but the other three are currently rolling. The maintenance activities is a great before and after shot. We get some pretty good trees that block bridges, and when they get to a certain level that we think it's going to impede stormwater flow, conveyance, we remove that debris, and that's what is shown in this picture. Stormwater problems are all over the service area, so our projects need to be sprinkled all over the service area, and this just shows you a snapshot of what's in design and construction. But there are plenty of problems across our service area. And we want to encourage good practices, both in our work, but also we offer credits to reduce stormwater fees for customers that will either improve stormwater quality or reduce quantity on their sites. And we have a pretty healthy credit program, and a number of people take advantage of that. There was litigation around this. We won in Cuyahoga County Common Pleas, overturned in the 8th District Court, went back to the Supreme Court. They took the case. They decided to hear the case in 2014. So we started in 13 in January, had to stop in September of 2013. The litigation took years. We won in Supreme Court and reactivated the program beginning January of 2016, and we've been rolling ever since. So a lot of great things have happened. So we've got to remember where we were. You always got to go back to that. I mean, this is where we were. It's astounding. But good things are happening. in large part because of dedicated investment, not just the sewer district, but a lot of folks. The Cuyahoga River is really, to me, is a national success story in terms of it burned 13 times. And now the most recent water quality results we see in 17 are extremely good along the entire stretch. Fish, bugs, and the habitat of the streams looking great. So we do a lot of this work. We monitor stream health through chemistry, habitat, fish, and bugs. And our water quality crews are out in the stream looking for what's the diversity of fish, what's the diversity of bugs, we call them macroinvertebrates. The more diverse, the better, the healthier the stream. And it shows the direct relationship, in my mind, between sound environmental investment and recovery and benefits to the region. This is a depiction of the ammonia concentration coming out of our southerly treatment plant. After treatment, we discharged the Cuyahoga River. Back before 85, 86, the ammonia levels were up into the 2 milligram per liter range. And ammonia is highly toxic to the aquatic community. It creates issues. Now, we built at the southerly treatment plant in that 85, 86 timeframe a major enhancement to the treatment plant that dealt with ammonia. We wanted to lower ammonia discharge to the stream. So you can see the precipitous drop in treated effluent ammonia following construction of that facility. I mean, it dropped like a rock and is held there and has actually continued to go downward as more treatment plant enhancements are made. So that's a tremendous drop in a fairly toxic pollutant to the area water body. We do some work to evaluate, okay, what's the result of all of these actions? And one is habitat evaluations. There's the proper habitat in place to support fish and bug communities. It's called QHEI, Qualitative Habitat Evaluation Index. We look for fish in the streams, and we've got a nice fleet of electroshocking boats, some small, some very large, some handheld, some weightables. We're looking for fish, total numbers, and diversity. Certain fish are not very sensitive to pollution, and you'll see a bunch of them. Others are highly sensitive to pollution, and you don't see them. This is the fish scores over time, same basic time period. And you've got bars, very poor, poor, fair, marginally good, good, and great. But it's that sampling result of how many fish are there and how sensitive or insensitive to pollution are they. The aquatic community in that area and other areas of the stream have just gone nothing but up. And so this is what you want to have happen with environmental investments. It's an astounding story. River burned 13 times. Now we're meeting targets. So I think the efforts locally aren't as good as others across the nation. I think they're the best, quite honestly, when you look at the type of problems we had and where we're at. So this is all good. Electroshocking. What we do when we do electroshocking is we have very sophisticated instrumentation where a slight electric current is imparted on the water body. Not enough to kill the fish, enough to stun them. And what happens is the stunned fish will come to the surface where we collect them, measure, weigh, and identify. Because different types of species are indicative of whether it's a polluted or a non-polluted stream, and the numbers and weight, and whether they're healthy-looking fish or not. So that's what we do, and then those fish are released back to the water body. And it's an indicator of stream health. The Cuyahoga supported next to no fish way, way, way back. And I don't know what the number is, and I'll have to get that number, but we're in well up the scale and increasing all the time. We see more fish all the time. This is one of the fish we see now. This is a walleye. This looks like a 10-pound walleye. It's an 8-inch walleye. But we found it at I-480 in the Cuyahoga River, well upstream. And we don't have a lot of records of walleye making it up that stream, and they're not heading up that stream unless that stream's fairly healthy to support their movement, so that's a great sign. Other things, these are highly intolerant to pollution. Now, these are small minnows, but you've got to have the chain. To get healthy large fish, you've got to have healthy bugs and small fish. to have the right dynamics. So these are starting to show up more recently, which again is an indicator of success. We look at the bug community. These are the little bugs that are in the sediment that really are the feed, food supplies for the fish species. These are called Hesterdendes. We throw them in the stream, put them in the bottom of the stream, and the bugs colonize these discs. Pull them out, get them under a microscope, and again, it's just like the fish. Enumerate the types and quantities of different types of bugs. This graphic's a little different, but the red line was the oldest data on the bugs, and each subsequent line are newer sets of data, and the trend is good. We went from very poor to fair in many reaches, and now we're in the marginally good to good and starting to approach very good status. This is the bug community, and this is another sign of success. It's an enormous sign of success, so this is all good stuff. And the 2017 data looks better than this. We've also started to see these. These are freshwater mussels. Hadn't been seen forever in certain stretches of the Cuyahoga River, and our water quality industrial surveillance folks are pulling them out of the river. And it's quite a story, and the scientific community's all over it too. And so this, again, is another sign of success. As are these. This is kind of a stunning picture. This is John Rhodes, who manages our water quality and industrial surveillance group. On the right, that's a lake trout that was shocked up in the Cuyahoga River. Now, lake trout are not indigenous to we don't stock them in Ohio, stocked in New York likely. But still, trout don't like polluted streams, so that's a great sign. And to the left is a steelhead trout caught near the site of the 1969 fire. So that's another sign of success. I put the Cuyahoga on a national scale in terms of its success in recovery. But there are a lot of challenges. And the most recent challenge locally and across the Great Lakes are harmful algal blooms. Algal blooms in Lake Erie. I'm old enough to remember the harmful algal blooms in the 60s and the 70s, which went away through large part investment from municipalities and other folks in terms of treatment plants and reducing overflows. But they're back again, and it's a huge problem. So we've got all kinds of challenges going forward, not just the algae. Basement flooding's a big issue. We cannot have sewage in the basement, so that's a big issue. Pollution coming from what we call non-point sources, your front lawn sometimes, agricultural areas, other areas carry pollutants to the water bodies. It's going to be difficult to determine how to deal with that. And we're finding new stuff all the time, different chemical constituents in the water body, pharmaceuticals and other things. The question is, what's their impact on human health? And if there's a measurable impact on human health, what should a treatment plant or other sources, non-point sources, do about it? And the regulatory climate changes all the time, and we just have to keep track of that.
I had heard that Lake Erie had the highest fish population of the Great Lakes, and I was just wondering if that was true and if you could speak to that.
I'm glad you asked that. So I'm a native Clevelander, and I'm a huge Lake Erie fisherman. So doing the stuff we do at the sewer district is great for my hobby. And you are correct. Lake Erie holds more fish than the rest of the Great Lakes combined. And it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, not just in Northeast Ohio, but across the lakefront. So the lake supports a very healthy population of walleye and yellow perch and other species, now steelhead. On a national scale, it's one of the greatest fishing holes there is. And we need to keep it that way. So things like harmful algal blooms and overflows and non-point source pollution and effective treatment plants are extremely important in maintaining that balance. It's productive because it's relatively shallow, warmer than the other Great Lakes, more plant growth, which promotes more small minnow growth, things like that. The food supply is pretty good, so it supports a very healthy population. Some of the other lakes are so deep and so cold, they're just not as biologically productive, and we've got the right balance. But if you don't do the right things, you could upset that balance in a heartbeat, and we can't do that. And the good efforts of the sewer district and a lot of other folks are making good things happen. We need environmental investment to continue. That sewer university along process, but I hope you learned something.
2019 will mark 50 years of progress since the most famous of fires on the Cuyahoga River. On June 22, 1969, a spark set ablaze a blackened coat of oily pollution floating on the Cuyahoga. It was not the first fire. The Cuyahoga had blazed more than a dozen times prior, but this time the response was different, and it changed the country's future. In the late 1960s, Cleveland's industrial prosperity had resulted in environmental neglect. Not enough was done to adequately treat wastewater in our booming industrial city, and there were no industrial discharge regulations. The 1969 fire thrust Cleveland into the national spotlight. Cleveland Mayor Carl Stokes, a longtime advocate for environmental responsibility, criticized the federal government and vowed to fight for a cleaner river. Time magazine detailed Stokes' fury in an article about the river's burning. In 1970, a groundbreaking piece of environmental legislation, the National Environmental Policy Act, helped to establish the Environmental Protection Agency. In 1972, Congress passed the Federal Water Pollution Control Amendments, which would become the Clean Water Act of 1977. It was in this national context that the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District was created. The district took responsibility for the wastewater treatment needs of Greater Cleveland, including clamping down on industrial discharges into the lake and river. Once declared dead by national media, the Cuyahoga River now boasts more than 60 different species of fish and has been found to be a home of freshwater mussels.
Now we'll talk to one of our construction managers, Bob Auber, about some of Cleveland's underground construction on the east side.
Hello, my name is Bob Auber. I am a construction manager. I'm actually a manager of the large tunnels. I've been at the sewer district for 26 years this coming December. You can see this site here, we call this our 9-mile site. We are just south of Interstate I-90. And at this particular location is a very critical component to our Project Clean Lake. The completed ECT tunnel, Euclid Creek Tunnel, has been completed the last 2.5 years ago. This is a 24-foot finished diameter storage tunnel. Meets another storage tunnel that's still under construction over here, just in the background with the crane. That's our Dugway storage tunnel. They all meet here at 9-mile site, where we have, in that brick building in the background, is our deep tunnel pump station, which we're going to use to remove all the collected combined sewer overflow that we are going to mass during wet weather conditions. We have the capacity to pump it into the easterly interceptor to our easterly treatment plant. That's what it's all about, is trying to collect all the CSOs going out into the environment. We can treat it. I've been doing tunnels in Cleveland for the sewer district since the early 80s. I fell in love with it by accident, like most things happen in life. I was replacing an inspector on the job who was gone for vacation. And so I was only there for 2 weeks, but I was there long enough to ascertain a love and appreciation for this type of work. It's very interesting. You don't come across many people that actually do tunneling and this type of work. They are very, very dedicated, hardworking people, and maybe sometimes they're second generation doing tunneling and mining. I really wanted to be in that world. Because you're working underground, you have to have a high level of understanding of what you're doing and knowing that you have to do it right the first time, because otherwise, you could have health issues, safety issues, you could have problems on the job if it's not done right. Working in confined space, up here in Cleveland area, of course, we do a lot of our mining in shale, because it's all sedimentary rock in this area. Of course, when you're working in shale, you have the propensity to have methane gas. You have to worry about the silica dust that gets extracted from the shale when it's mined. Of course, fall hazards. We work all year round. We're not affected by weather except high winds and lightning because of our cranes. But other than that, we're working. I have 5 projects going on right now, almost $500 million worth of work. So I have great CSs assigned to those jobs. I don't micromanage. I let them run their projects, have ownership in what they do, and I'm there just for big picture stuff to make sure things run smoothly. If they need assistance, to keep the job going. But I'm very blessed because I have a great staff underneath me who are very dedicated on what they do.
Did you know flushing your expired or unused medications can be harmful to the environment? Wastewater treatment plants are not equipped to remove pharmaceuticals from wastewater, and when the treated water is released into the Cuyahoga River and Lake Erie, it can still contain traces of these medicines. The best way to dispose of unwanted medicine is to check for a local collection event. The Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Drug Drop Box program allows residents to deposit unwanted prescription drugs at drop boxes across the county. To find a drop-off location, visit rxdrugdropbox.com or call 211. The Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District also makes it easy to pitch those pills and safely dispose of unwanted medications at our free pharmaceutical collection events. If you are unable to attend a pharmaceutical collection, there are ways to safely dispose of medications at home. Visit neorsd.org/pitchthosePills for more information. Protect water quality and your family by disposing of pharmaceuticals properly and safely.
Now Mackenzie and Patrick will tell us about employment opportunities at the sewer district.
Hi, I'm here today with Patrick Ibney and Mackenzie Dietzel, both in our Human Resources Department. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Jen.
Absolutely. So you're both in Human Resources. What is the role that you have with the district?
So I am a recruiter for the district. I recruit specifically for full-time positions.
And Patrick?
I'm also a recruiter. I recruit a lot of our interns.
Great. So what are some of the ways that you look for candidates at the district?
You want to start with interns?
Sure.
First?
Sure. So for interns especially, I'll go to career fairs, I'll go to info sessions at colleges and universities, and I also utilize LinkedIn and other job board postings like Handshake.
Okay.
That's how I usually find most of the candidates.
Great. Mackenzie?
So we do a lot of job fairs in the community. So we just kind of look out for different types of career fairs. Some of them are specific to the job we're looking for, if it's like a trades career fair of some sort. And then we also utilize LinkedIn, Indeed as well. So we use a lot of those like social media sites, platforms like that to help.
And you mentioned trades. So what are some of the jobs that we're looking for folks who are interested in joining the district?
Yeah, so entry-level positions usually are mostly focused in the trade. So we look for skill sets in like boilers licenses, operators, wastewater operators. So anybody that has a mechanic background or a maintenance background of some sort, we look for a lot of those types, like hands-on type of skills is what we really are looking for with those types of candidates.
And Patrick, what are some of the other positions at the district?
So some other positions, we have a lot of positions, everything but medical positions. So accountants, IT especially is a big use. IT is a big department we're hiring for a lot of the time. There's just a big need.
And they're hard to fill too.
Hard to find.
Yeah.
Biologists, chemists, things like that.
So what are some of the reasons why folks might want to join the sewer district?
I think what we represent, from an environmental standpoint, it's a big thing. A lot of people want to protect the environment that we live in. So the lake being right here in Cleveland is huge. I think it's a huge appeal factor. A lot of people from the environmental science background look to us as a way to come into that field and do something that they feel valued doing and purposeful, and you're giving back to the community, you're giving back to the environment that you live in, and you're protecting it. So what better way to do that by protecting our Great Lake?
Yeah, and Mackenzie said it right. sense of purpose. Since I deal with interns a lot, they're looking for post-graduating college, kind of looking to find a purpose. Working in the district, you can find that you're impacting the community in an extremely positive way. Yeah. We are the industry standard on a lot of environmental issues and how we handle them. So being a part of something like the district is really appealing to a lot of younger and students and people like that.
I hear that from a lot of people that we're out just interacting with in the community as well. What are some of the ways, once folks are working at the district, whether they're an intern or a full-time employee, whether it's trades or other areas, what are some of the growth opportunities?
Well, we've had a huge success with hiring on our interns into full-time positions. So I think Patrick plays a really key role in finding those candidates at an intern level and bringing them in. Hiring managers are looking for that top talent to come in as an intern because they're looking at them as a potential job opportunity for a full-time employee. From there, coming in as an intern, you do have a lot of opportunities in your designated career path or area to kind of transition into another internship. Maybe you come in in the lab and you can transition over into water quality because your degree kind of allows you to have that flexibility, so you get exposure to a lot of that the different areas. So you can start off as an intern in the lab, you might transition into a full-time position in water quality, so it's a nice pipeline.
Okay. So why are career fairs so important for our viewers?
For me, I go to a lot of colleges and universities. Career fairs are a great way to work on a lot of skills that you're going to need throughout your whole professional career. Introducing yourself, giving a small little pitch, but it's also a great networking tool. So meeting people, they may like a job, say you're a biologist. We may not have a biologist internship available now, but you introduce yourself to us. You keep in contact, checking in every couple of weeks or every month or so, hey, still interested in working for you, here's my updated resume. It's a great way to network. I get really excited when I go to these fairs because I wish I was in their shoes again because of what I know now.
It's a relationship, like Patrick was saying. It's a networking opportunity, so it really does give a lot of value to beyond the resume. From what we see when they apply, you're meeting them face to face, and it's kind of like the next level, like they're kind of getting an extra step in the door, an extra step in the process. So it does, have a benefit to it.
Great, and if our viewers are interested in looking to see what current job opportunities there are at the district, what should they do? Should they go online? Should they call you? What should they do?
Absolutely. So we have our applications are all available online. You can go to our careers page on our website. So that's www.neorsd.org/careers, and you can view all of our current openings that are available. If you have any questions, there's the department list is there too, so you can look up Patrick or I, and we'd be happy to answer any questions. Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And again, that's neorsd.org/careers for our current listing of all of our job opportunities at the Sewer District. Thanks again.
Thanks
for having us.